Hi, this is Ingvar, and I have a quick review of a game that was sent to me by a viewer of my channel. His name is Simon Cristensen, comes from Denmark, and he had the black pieces in this game, and hopefully we can learn some themes about the French defense, and yeah, hopefully some middle game themes as well. But let's have a look. So he had the black pieces, his opponent, this was a classical game played on lichess. His opponent opened with e4. And we have e6, the French defense, and we have a normal advanced variation after e5, c5, and now white plays knight f3. The main move is c3, so knight f3 is sort of not revealing white's hand just yet. But after knight c6, he can still transpose to the main line with c3, but he goes a different route. He plays bishop to d3. Now this is a variation that is actually quite tricky, because the players that know it, that play it, they tend to know it quite well, and it has like a really clear plan. It's sort of a Nimzowitsch type of plan. In the game, Simon played bishop d7, but I think, and this is what I would do after reviewing this line a little bit, is to play c takes d4. Yeah, I've usually played like this, and I played it with queen to b6, but now I think, after looking at some Grandmaster games, that queen b6 maybe isn't just necessary, and I would play like this, c takes d4. But okay, white's idea is to try and win this pawn. So quite often we have some overprotection of the e5 pawn, like I mentioned. The knight is already protecting the pawn here, so he can add the bishop, he can add the queen, he can castle and add the rook, and trying to hold on to this pawn on e5, overprotecting it. And then the plan is to win this pawn eventually. So quite often the knight comes here. There's also another plan for the bishop. It is to put it on the queen side. So maybe playing a3, b3 or b4, and putting the bishop on b2, and then win this. So if you can hold on to that and overprotect the e5 square, then white's plan can sometimes be a success. So after c takes d, if knight b to d2, intending to just win this straight away here, the pawn on d4, I think quite often the theme is after knight b to d2, you have time for f6. And here is just a sample line. Okay, we're threatening e5. I mean, if white takes, it's just helping black to develop. Our pieces get nice squares, we castle, we have a beautiful center. And we might even hold on to this pawn. So queen e2 is more normal, trying to keep control of the e5 square, but we can add more pressure to it. And here white has to succumb to the pressure, and we can give this check and then eventually just play e5, castle or e5, and we're still holding on to the pawn, and black is just, yeah, actually much better here. The most common move is to castle, when I like this plan of just knight g7, knight g6, and there's a nice game by Short against Hodgson, which you can look at. You can even find it in the lichess database. And just get castled and play f5. So now white's choices are to allow this kind of a nice French pawn structure, or to take. And if you take, black doesn't have any real problems. We never really worry about white taking here. We will eventually get a strong light squared bishop, and we have a choice here how to take. You can take with the rook and try and get some play on the f file. That actually makes some sense. You can take with the bishop, trying to make it more difficult to win this, and even taking with the pawn is interesting, trying to get a big pawn center. So I don't think black has any particular problems here. In the game, Simon, like I said, played bishop d7, which is a normal French move, and perhaps hoping that after c3 we transpose to some lines that we know after queen b6. But white kept on playing according to this plan of giving up the d4 pawn and playing around it. Simon took now, knight b d2. So here he played queen b6, which I think is an okay move, but he said so himself in his annotations that f6 should have been played. And yeah, f6 is a good idea. So like earlier, when the knight comes to d2, f6, it seems like a good time to break with f6. So yeah, there are some choices here. We mentioned earlier that taking is just fine for black. Very good development and a strong center. Trying to hold on. I mean, bishop b5 is what you mentioned, but this is already moving the bishop twice, so black shouldn't have any problems here. Queen b6, I actually like getting some pieces out, but queen b6 is fine. Maybe knight g to e7, and just trying to get pressure on the e5 pawn. Trying to hold on with queen e2. We can put pressure, and here again, knight g7 looks like a nice move. When we're threatening to just take and play knight c6. So maybe white takes, and yeah, here we can castle queenside. We're threatening e5, just holding on to everything and having a nice center. So f6 looks like a very good move. You played, however, Simon played queen b6, knight b3 by white, knight g7, like this, rook e1, knight g6. This is very normal. But now h4. And here you played bishop e7, which you gave a dubious sign. Here we have to do something else. Queen c7, you suggested yourself when we can take the pawn on h4, but okay, white will have some chances with a very strong knight and some space. I also think we shouldn't allow this pawn to go too far, so h6 looks like a choice here, and we don't have to worry about taking usually. I mean, this is a double pawn, but the king can defend it. There's no real way to kick this guy around, and then we put our bishop out and a rook, and we're just fine. But after h4 we saw bishop to e7. And now it starts to push you around h5, and it's around here that things are going south. This knight is horrible on f8. It's not coming back here. It's not coming here. So already you're very cramped. So you missed your chance with breaking with f6. And yeah, in some cases the queen on b6 perhaps isn't super useful after we take on d4. So a4 by your opponent, and here, yeah, you played a5, and I think maybe here was your last chance to fight back a little bit. Here on the next move, okay, a5 is actually allowing white to get a very good position. If he sees knight f takes d4, which allows this pin here, bishop b3, and he will win the piece on d4 with a very strong position. Black is very weak here. Queen g4 at some point is very hard to deal with, and it's yeah, black is sort of left without any meaningful pawn breaks. So after a5 you get a little bit off the hook with bishop b5, and here is sort of your last chance to okay, this was what happened in the game. So a4 a5 bishop b5. So going back to a variation, I think, yeah, h6 was sort of your last fighting chance here. Once he takes on, okay, you're not allowing this pawn to come to h6, weakening your king side, and here at least you get a square for the knight. It's not a pretty square, but at least we can castle and fight on. But white is definitely for choice here. But instead you played very strategically suspect move, maybe even a losing blunder, bishop c5, because this bishop, it's very important. Once he takes it off, which he does, well done. He's just too weak on the black squares. I mean, this is coming in. Your opponent played bishop takes c6, but he should have played b3. And now another critical moment here. You took with the bishop and you gave it dubious sign yourself. I might even assign it a question mark, because you have to be able to contend against the d4 square. And knight on d4. That's an important French team. So, for instance, in the game that I played in the rapid game against Simon Williams, I got an excellent position just because of going for this knight on d4. and black has to play b takes c6, and the reason is after knight takes you can play queen b6 and you can challenge this knight, and black is at least fighting here. Instead in the game you took with the bishop, and now this is just a beast from the east or beast from the west, and the black squares, they're just horrible. And your opponent found a really nice move here, b3, and this bishop can come to a3 if and when he wants. He plays queen d3, which is, I guess it's okay. I mean, it's preparing to swing here, but he could already have swung over here, so maybe not the best move. Bishop d7, bishop a3, and yeah, of course b3 was good because black could never castle because of this bishop a3. So now we had queen c8. Okay, here it doesn't so much matter what you play here, queen c8 or b6. It's I think it's already a lost position, g6, and you just see how horrible the black squares are. This is covered, this is weak, and white did a good job here, queen g5, using the weak squares, trying to threaten checkmate, and then he penetrated on the other weak squares, and he didn't make any mistakes here. Gobbled up some pawns, and after e6 Simon resigned. So yeah, I thought there were some themes there, and you know, definitely when you encounter a line like this, what I like to do is just look up some games, some grandmaster games, try to find some ideas. And now I will try to remember myself as well when I meet this line. I want to play take on d4, and if we just go back to what we want to play. Yeah, I will take immediately here, c takes d4, like this, and just play for this plan. Okay, let's see castles actually, which is sort of like a main line here. Just play this plan here. Looks like a really easy plan, and play for f5. Looks like a very good French position for black. Nothing really to worry about. That's what I would do. So yeah, I hope there were some middle game themes or some opening tips that provided helpful. And if you guys have any viewer games, you're welcome to send it to my email, and hopefully I can get around to looking at your games. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.